you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a family that loves you but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as the rest of your family there. Today, we have an amazing author on the show. We're going to be talking to him about his latest hot book that's coming off the presses just March 4th, 2025. It's called Hang On, St. Christopher, part of the Sean Duffy series by Adrian McKinty. We're going to get into some of the deets and some exciting new things that he has coming up with his books and all that good stuff. Adrian was born and grew up in Belfast, Northern Ireland. He studied philosophy at Oxford University before moving to Australia and then New York City. In 2019, he had a global hit with his standalone novel, The Chain. Adrian's novels have won the Edgar Award, the Ned Kelly Award, 3 times, in fact, the Anthony Award, the Barry Award, McCavity Award, and the Theakston Award, and the Old Peculiar Crime Novel of the Year Award. Did I get the Theakston right? Is that
basically all you have to say is it's a clean sweep.
Oh, it's a clean sweep.
An award there. I've won it. That's all you need to know.
We just need to get him a Nobel Peace Prize.
Please find one that I haven't won, and then give me something to root for. Into this plateau, you're just looking down on the universe.
And his books have been translated into 40 languages. So welcome to the show, Adrian. Give us any .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get the books at all the usual places.
So give us a 30,000 overview. What's in your new book?
It's book 8 in a series of detective novels set in Belfast, Northern Ireland in the 1980s. So just to set the background scene, it's the apocalypse. Northern Ireland is a true story. Northern Ireland has been in the throes of this low-level civil war known as the Troubles for the previous 20 years. And Belfast is just the apocalypse. Bombs going off, riots every night, killings, the highest murder rate of police forces in the Western world. Just to be a copper there is a very precarious job, and my copper has been in the job for 7 books, and this is his 8th, and he's trying to head into retirement, but just like Al Pacino in The Godfather Part 3, just when he thought he was out, they drag him back in to one more case. It's always one more case.
You got a great blurb there from Don Winslow. We've had him on the show. He's a great author.
Yeah, Don's a good friend.
Oh, yeah. And so this is book 8 in your series, the Sean Duffy series. Tell us a little bit about the Sean Duffy series and who is this Sean Duffy?
So Sean Duffy's my detective. He's interesting in the context of Northern Ireland because Northern Ireland, I don't know if you know much about the Troubles or the Civil War that happened, but the police force was mostly a Protestant police force, and it was seen by the Catholic community as kind of an alien, untrustworthy police force to be a part of. Just like, LAPD would have been in South Central in 1966 or, any of those situations. And he's actually a Catholic cop. So he's seen by a traitor by his own people, and he's seen as untrustworthy by the other cops. So that's what makes it an interesting dynamic to write about and think about and hopefully read about.
You can't win either way sometimes.
No, exactly.
Yeah. You can't please everybody, that's for sure. What prompted you to start this series? How did it all begin with this character?
Well, I was born and grew up in Belfast, and I'd never written about it before, and I'd written about just about everywhere I'd ever lived because people said that to write about Northern Ireland was box office poison because it was complicated, the situation there. But eventually, if you're a writer, you do the challenge of bringing the complicated to your readers, and so I decided that I was going to write about it. And then much to my shock and amazement, the books actually did very well in terms of critically and commercially. So that's all you need. All you need is that little bit of encouragement, and then you write another one and another one. And if they keep encouraging you, you can't stop.
That's true. And if the book publisher says, hey, we need more books, you got to go.
You got to listen to your editor. Exactly.
Now, you have a lot of books under your belt. How many books do you have so far?
I think I've written altogether, including short story collections and books I've edited, I think 21 altogether, which is a lot of heavy lifting over 12 years.
Yeah. And do you have other series that are still ongoing?
I do. I have this series, which I haven't done a book in about 10 years, called the Michael Forsyth series, about a young illegal immigrant from who goes to New York City in the 90s. It just sort of echoes my story because I was a young illegal immigrant from Northern Ireland who lived in New York City in the 90s. And I also have a couple of standalones that may become series in the future, but I'm not allowed to talk about those.
So the stuff's coming in the future there. What does the future look like for this series, the Sean Duffy series? Do you have
after the third book, I said, that's it. It's a trilogy. We're done. And then I wrote a fourth, and then I wrote a fifth, and then I said, okay, that's it. I only have a certain number of ideas. You know, the genius only goes so far. The sixth book is the second trilogy. We're done. I made this big announcement. You know, people wrote to me and said, please, please, please don't end it. And I said, no, you're done. I'm not a one-trick pony. There will never be another one. And then I had an idea for a seventh one, and much to my shame and chagrin and embarrassment, I wrote the seventh one and sort of shamefacedly brought it to the universe. And I said, but enjoy this, folks, because this is the last one. And now, yesterday, I've brought it on an eighth. So I made a fool of myself, saying this was the end, and I'm not doing that anymore.
I mean, I've been to so many the last tour of Kiss concerts.
Someone says to Sean in the book, you know, you're about as unretired as Frank Sinatra. I think that's true. You should never say, this is my farewell tour, because 2 years from now, the tax man will be coming and just go, you know what? That wasn't my
one more tour. Yeah, we got bills to pay. Yeah,
even the Eagles got back together. I mean, what are we talking about? And
they got a lot of divorces they got to pay for.
They called that tour because they said we will get together when hell freezes over. Yeah. So they called that tour the Hell Freezes Over tour.
Yeah, that was like 1985.
Yeah, and they did like 3 more after that. You know,
1988, 87, I think was that album. But what a great album! Yeah, but yeah, it's like, I mean, they were just at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
And I remember, I do remember my mother saying, "Oh, I have to go all the way to." I'll do it in her accent. I have to go all the way to Dublin because it's Frank Sinatra's last concert. Oh, and even then we were going, are you sure it's Frank Sinatra's last concert? I mean,
old Blue Eyes.
Yeah, and it certainly was not.
Yeah, even what's his face, Tony Bennett. You know, he had Alzheimer's. Oh, yeah. He was like out of it. They'd still prop him up on stage, put a mic in his hand, play music, and he'd go.
The one I do not regret. I remember about 5 years ago. Leonard Cohen was in New York City, and the tickets were quite expensive. And then someone said to me, "You know, it could be his last," and it was. I was glad I went.
That was good.
He was on fantastic form.
Yeah, I skipped the last Rush concert, thinking they'll do a big farewell tour. It'll be one big thing, and it wasn't. And I regret it all my life.
Some people resist. Look at Led Zeppelin. They've been begging them for 25 years.
So much money.
They said, we'll give you $200 million. The last one I heard was $200 million.
$200 million, wow.
To do it. And they said, Robert Plant said no.
Yeah. This is crazy, man. I wish they get back together, but, you know, hey, what are you going to do? It's their thing. You know, I'm sure they were in the old days where you actually made money as a musician, so they probably got a couple bucks rattled away somewhere.
Yeah, it wasn't all going to Spotify and or everything else that you actually made the bread.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of their jet, Led Zeppelin's jet.
Oh yeah,
and they had a fireplace in it.
Yeah, I remember that famous jet.
I think it was like fake, but it was like they had a fireplace in it.
From 75.
Yeah, like somebody like, we need a fireplace and a mantle in this plane.
They got it.
And they got it.
Yeah.
You know, rock and roll has changed a lot. So what do you hear from your readers? What draws them to your books, your writing, and the character?
Just brilliance at every level of story.
And modesty, maybe a little modesty.
Yeah. Humility. Obviously,
they say humility is my greatest. Yeah.
Humility at the top of the list there, but just, you know, they say, Adrian, you know, stories are so funny. The writing is so perfect. The dialogue is perfect. I just get don't even look at my ratings. There's some fake 1-star reviews out there. Don't listen to those guys. That's obviously jealous fellow authors.
Yeah.
But the real genuine readers, all 5-star reviews across the board.
Yeah. I mean, the chain's got 17,819 ratings on Amazon and then 141,258 ratings on Goodreads.
Yeah, that was the one that really had a big impact. I knew that one was crazy when I remember the first time ever I broke the New York Times bestseller list. Mm-hmm. And that was I think the one and only time where people would recognize you in airports. This never happened to me before or since. Yeah. But they say, "Are you the guy that's on the page 4 of the New York Times book review?" And I go, Yes, I am. And I thought, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm being recognized in airports. Yeah. Because that must happen to, I don't know, let's say you're Mick Jagger. I mean, that's his daily existence, right? Yeah. 25 times a day. Aren't you Mick Jagger? Yes, I am.
I get recognized at airports all the time, but it's the TSA finding out I'm on the no-fly list.
Yes. They just go, sorry, you're going to have to take the bus.
You're going to have to take
We're not letting you in a plane.
Wouldn't that suck? That would be awful. Not being able to fly somewhere.
Although, I mean, from my perspective, every time there's a weird situation like that, you think there might be a book in this, or there might be a story or something.
Planes landing upside down nowadays.
You get bumped from a flight and then have to take the Greyhound across the country or something.
Yeah.
I once did the train.
Wait, isn't this the plane? This is the plot of Plane, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yeah, it is. John Candy and
Steve Martin. Steve Martin.
The only good Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, really.
But anyway, I once took the train once from Chicago to New Orleans, and that was the scene. Because it's people with DUIs, people who are afraid to fly, people, so that you really got to meet a vast cross section of America on that train that you wouldn't have gone if you'd flown.
Yeah.
And so it was extremely interesting.
People are interesting. Do you find that you're a people watcher? Is that maybe one of the things that you integrate that into your books, characters and people? I'm
never bored, for example, at the DMV. Mm-hmm. There's all this free dialogue happening. I mean, my DMV is the DMV in Harlem. Yeah. So it's a fantastic DMV if you want free dialogue and amazing situations and drama. It's a great place to go.
Maybe this should be the new gripping crime novel or something. The DMV.
I mean, the great thing about someone like, I don't know if you know the works of Samuel Beckett, but what he did was put a microcosm on ordinary life and make it interesting. Yeah, I think that's an excellent challenge for a writer. How do you make something just really banal and ordinary and make that interesting? Yeah. I mean, anybody can make a gunfight interesting or a bomb going off or whatever, but making a cup of coffee interesting. That's the challenge.
Get a whole book on just making a coffee. I don't know. I just recently got into espresso and bought an expensive espresso machine, all the toys that are like a money pit. And you could probably write a book about making a coffee with one of these damn things.
There's a very famous spy novel called The Ipcress File. They made a great movie out of it with Michael Caine. Oh, yeah. And there's an incredibly sexy scene in the movie where he picks up a woman and she gets out of the bed and she walks into his kitchen and all he does is make her breakfast for the next 3 minutes, and it's very great. It's the anti-James Bond. It's from a 1966 movie, but it's a fantastic scene because he makes her breakfast in a very, very sexy way, and she's completely won over by it. Oh, wow. And Bond never makes anybody breakfast.
Yeah, I don't think he knows how to cook.
No, I don't think he does.
I don't think he does. He just knows how to fire weapons and, I don't know, bash headboards in.
But it shows you that that's an interesting tack to take if you're a writer to go into this other pathway.
I'm going to have to go watch that movie so that I can be sexy for the chicks in the morning.
Yeah, the Ipcress File. It holds up. It's an amazing film.
Wow. The Chris File?
The Ipcress File. Ipcress. Michael Caine movie. Just Google Michael Caine's spy movie, 60s.
I mean, what is it, like 500 movies or something?
he's got a big filmography.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He's still alive, I think, too, isn't he?
He is.
He's still doing film?
I think he is every couple of years.
I think he invented film.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some great films. Ibris File, one of the best. Zulu, one of the best. And then, of course, there's Jaws 4, which is absolutely worth watching because it's the dumbest movie that any studio has ever made. 100% worth watching, Jaws 4. The shark, to escape the shark in Massachusetts, they go to the Bahamas, but the shark knows and follows them to the Bahamas. I mean, what a movie.
Shark.
Yeah, what a movie.
Yeah, a shark's got a axe to grind, man. He's not letting shit go.
Absolutely does, that shark.
So sharks can have a chip on their shoulder. That's why they're always biting people every now and then.
That one does.
They're just that, or they're just testing for, I don't know, see if it tastes good. Adrian, as we go out, pitch people on how to pick up your book and how to maybe websites.coms, anything to stay in touch with your updates on what you're doing.
Yeah, you can get the book at all evil and most good bookstores, and you can get it on Amazon, and only get it if you want to be entertained and have fun. If you want to be bored and not find anything about the meaning of life, definitely don't get it.
Yeah, just get Second Gray. I can't pull the reference now off the joke top of my head. It's Friday, folks. 7 Levels of Gray. What is that? When was that?
Oh, yeah. 50 Shades of Gray.
50 Shades of Gray. Thank you for the reference.
Yes.
If you want to be bored, listen to that. Until then, pick up Hang On St. Christopher there. Thank you very much, Adrian, for coming on. We really appreciate it, man.
Anytime, buddy.
Thank you. And thanks, Mounts, for tuning in. Order up wherever fine books are sold. Hang On St. Christopher, the Sean Duffy series, book 8. Go buy all of them so you can get caught up on the whole series.
They will. Don't worry.
Yeah, just binge it. Like you do the Chris Voss Show. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Mounts, for being here. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss, one on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have